There?
You are in Spanish, you are in English.
English.
English. Okay, this is part of us. You see, welcome to the 65th Regiment Marine Community. Now, if you notice this insignia here, this is what I have on my hand. I mean, this distinguishes us from everybody because only the Puerto Rican, our 65th Infantry was, that's what we used to in our service. And still, is the commemoration really of the Korean War. And let me tell you, I was talking to this young lady here. After 50 years, I went back to Korea, and I was so proud because Korea today looks such a beautiful country and so clean. I was really surprised, and especially so when I stayed in the Savoy Hotel, and the people treat us like kings, and I really appreciate, the way the Korean people remember us. When I'm talking about the 65th Infantry Regiment, it was amazing the way they treat us. And I feel so good that we have this display here. And of course, Grandpa here, which is me, and I'm proud to be a Korean girl. And to the Korean people, Shalom Aleichem. God bless. Anything else you want to know? I say, 안녕하십니까? 한수민입니다. And I got it here, still here.
감사합니다. All of us, we're so grateful to you as well, I'm so happy you said that we make you happy.
God bless.
Thank you.
Anita?
Anita.
Anita, you're my granddaughter.
Sí, sí. Anita, su nieta.
Mi nieta.
Sí.
Coreana.
Sí.
Qué bueno. So snow. I had because I used to live here in the United States. But it was we had two enemies. The enemy and also the snow because it was really, really cold. And some of our men, they had to be amputated because they got gangrene, from the cold. And I tell you, it was terrible. But we made it. And but some of them, we have a man in Puerto Rico which is a half a man. We had to amputate the legs on it.
How many?
Frostbite.
How many died? How many were killed in action?
Oh, too many.
70%.
70%.
17. 70. 70. 70% of the Buccaneers were killed in Korea.
70.
70.
Even my uncle, which was a sergeant with the 65th Infantry.
How many?
I have to look it up.
70%.
But the round number, 70% for the war, 70% of Buccaneers.
And the funny thing is about my uncle, we never find out what happened to him because I don't know if he was a prisoner of war, but we never find his body.
So he was missing in action.
Of course. That's what I say. I'm going to dedicate my life to our veterans. So I still miss my uncle.
The records keeping at that time were not very good.
I know.
There was a language barrier.
I know.
So, and there was a war going on.
And there are.
So records got lost.
And because the war hasn't ended, it's difficult to identify the remains or retrieve the remains. And so there are 8,000, MIAs, POWs in Korea, which is.
It might be some alive, which I doubt it.
Oh.
Because it's such a long time. But I hope one day they return all these people to us.
Oh, I know.
It's a Puerto Rican
It's
message.
something that's very dear to my heart too. Because the families will never know what happened to
closure.
no closure.
Okay, my name is Thomas Lopez. And Puerto Rican, of course, and I'm part of the 65th Infantry Regiment. And let me tell you, they call me a hero. Because what we did, I should say the 65th Infantry complete, not only Tommy Lopez. Because the governor of Puerto Rico, they sent me some kind of, like a plaque, something, considering me a hero. And I say, it's not only Tommy Lopez, it's the whole 65th Infantry represented. And when I went to Korea, of course I'm going to talk about the cold because it was really, the Puerto Rican, we were not used to that kind of weather. And we had two enemies, the enemy and also the cold. And as a matter of fact, we have people, as I told you before, that became, there's a man in Puerto Rico which is half a man, because we had to amputate the whole leg from it. And a lot of them, they suffer from the cold. I was lucky enough that being an infantryman, because I could communicate in English and in Spanish, they sent me to school in Seoul. And I learned communication in Korea. And when I went back, I was lucky because I became the radio operator of the big shot in charge of the 65th Infantry Regiment in Korea. And that made me feel so proud. But I never forget those who still were fighting, because they were my people. And as a Puerto Rican, I loved everybody. And thanks to you, Anita, because you make me feel so good, so happy. And I wish you to continue dealing with the 65th Infantry, because we have to recognize you, Mele. Special recognition to Anita for Washington. Thank you so very much. God bless. Okay, first of all, we should go to the schools and teach our kids about the 65th Border Engineers. A lot of people don't even recognize, what we did in Korea. And in these special memories that I still have should be distributed within the kids to have an idea what it is to defend this great country, which is America. It's my country too. Even I was born in Puerto Rico, but I became a citizen. I mean, when I was born, 1917, we started to be citizens because we used to belong to Spain. And when they came to the war between the America and the other countries that fought, we became citizens. The United States got and made us citizens. So I've been a citizen all my life since I was born. That's why, but one thing I say, when I was a small kid, I used to see the veterans going and lifting the flag. I say, wait a minute, there's a flag missing, the Puerto Rican flag. Now every place I go, I make sure I take my flag too, which represents the 65th Infantry, the Border Engineers. And this is what I want the kids to learn and to know the history and what we did for this great country.
Mm.
At first I say thank you to the Korean people, because I love them. And also, such a big change makes me feel so proud and so clean about Korea. And the people dress so nice, everybody, working people. And of course a lot of churches, which before, only the other. Now so many evangelistic church, and it happened that we had a chance to go to some of them, and they treated us like kings. And the lady was so happy that we were there.
Well, you deserve to be treated like kings.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Hannah. Yeah, so the 65th Infantry Regiment of Puerto Rico fought
in every major campaign of the United States wars, from World War I, World War II, and Korea. But they distinguished themselves during the Korean conflict. The Korean conflict was 3 years. The Puerto Rican regiment was a regiment-sized military unit. So they fought in 9 major campaigns, from the battle at the Chosin Reservoir, where there were frozen Chosin, to the evacuation of Hungnam, and most famously was the bayonet charge of February 2nd in 1951, where 2 battalions of the regiment encountered the Chinese 149th Division. Now, a division is made up approximately of 10,000 men, and a battalion is made up of approximately 1,000 men. So there are your contrasts. So the numbers were basically, 10 to 1. All right, 100 to 1. So they fought valiantly for 3 days. They fought so valiantly that the order came down to fix. The order came down to fix the memories. Come back. The order came down to fix bayonets. The bayonet was affixed to their rifles. The order was given to charge, and they fought almost basically hand to hand in a very ferocious battle. As a culmination of that battle, there was a sound of a bugle. The bugle sounded a withdrawal. It was the sound of a Chinese bugle, which called their unit to withdraw. Now, there were 70% casualties. They left no man behind that day. They brought back all of their wounded. They brought back the story of what had occurred to their commanders. Their commanders brought that story back to us, and now we bring that story back to you. So as a culmination of that distinction, that gallantry in the field of battle, that even the enemy had to bow in respect to this kind of worthy opponent. So it took us approximately 65 years to bring attention to the military, where they had to prove themselves. They had to contend not only with the elements and with poor supplies, but with a ferocious enemy. They proved themselves time and again in their ingenuity and their gallantry and their bravery in battle. And then even after such, here 65 years later, I gathered together the remnant of these veterans to be in the 65th Infantry Honor Task Force to help educate the public, help educate the Congress, to help bring attention to their magnificent story to the American landscape, which culminated in the award of the Congressional Gold Medal, which is the highest award that the people of the United States can give any military unit. And in their gratitude as well, the people of Korea and the government of Korea awarded each of the Korean veterans this Friendship Medal and also the Ambassador for Peace Medal. So,
Smile, look here.